Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday night, which means we are racing a SARCO competition. Apologies for the slight delays that we did have some load shedding that has been happening. The power has come up, so the stream is now up and running. A little later, the guys that have a little bit longer practice, and I see that Tyler has just joined us. Oh no, that is not what I wanted to do, Tyler. Nope. Where are we? There we go. Tyler, how are you this evening? Alright, no, 100%. So guys, what's happened is they have gone out and started their practice, so their qualifying. So we will just jump in so you're able to see what's happening in terms of the qualifying. Just remember, it is a one-shot qualifier that the drivers are going to be getting this evening. That means that everybody gets an out lap. They get to do one lap, and once that lap is done, they do need to return back into the pits. And currently we do have GavPick out on top there, 1:30 1.0 with Checo 1.1 seconds behind him. Slight PT's done 1.37 seconds behind Craig. He's in second place, 1 second further down the field there. Let's see, Memo, he's gone to 1.9 seconds, so that would put him just in the 1:33.001. It would be his time. Let's see, we see that Jakes is currently out on track, and he's just gone through the turn number 4. Crazy corner that. The guys that raced on our project cars race this past Monday would have been on the same track, but definitely much different conditions. Is that there was a little bit of rain that was out and about. As you see Jake's going out of turn number 7. He'll now head down the hill towards turn number 8. Hard on the brakes here. Just get that car rotated nice. Takes a lot of curb on the inside. Then a straight line here through the little kink at turn 9. Then he'll go hard on the brakes here at the Jackie Ick. Chicane taking a lot of curb on both the inside as well as the second phase there, running wide on the outside. Let's see whether he will be able to get himself up the order as he crosses the line, and he's just under half a second behind GavPig. So far GavPig is the man on the top there. We then jump to James, that's Rafiki. He now approaches the line. So he crosses the line, and is that possibly an out lap? That must be. We see Sheldon, he's now coming out, and Christo looks like he's spun it. at the second of the chicanes here at the Tellenbach 7. So I wonder whether that was on his outlap or whether that was an actual lap itself. We see Ati struggling there a bit, 2.4 seconds off the pace there. So guys, if you have just joined us, we do see that there are some people in the stream. Come give us a hi, tell us who you're here to support this evening. We always do love hearing from our viewers. So that's Christo, 9.4 seconds. So that mistake was actually on his flying lap. Morris now waiting for that track to be clear before he goes out. And it's also pretty smart there, because what he's essentially doing is allowing that track to get rubbered up with a few cars out. Just makes the track a little bit more grippy, and that will possibly allow Morris to knock off Gavpik on the top there. We see a Dirkie Kellerman, he's joined us saying hello Dirkie. I'm pretty sure that you would have liked to have raced in these conditions as opposed to the ones that we raced on Monday night. So Sheldon, he will cross the line to begin his fly, but that is going to run him wide. So that's going to be that lap completely cancelled or invalidated, I should say. So Sheldon will unfortunately be starting from the back. So the last car on the track is currently Marius. So Marius in that Porsche, or one of our, as it's formerly known as the Porker. We'll say thank you very much for Hasty, a friend of SARCO. Every time he jumps in and watches the Porsche, he always refers to as the Porker. So thank you very much, Colin Hasty. It's now something that has completely stuck with me. But now we watch Marius. Perhaps we could actually jump on board with him and get it from a driver's point of view. So now that's tight onto turn number 4. You see he'll now be heading into the climb chicane. Just before the red board's taking not too much curve on the inside. You can hear that traction controls working itself as he touches that curve on the exit. Red boards on the brakes, down to first gear. Well, see, he carries second gear through there, so carrying a lot more speed, but that tells me that he cut too much of a corner and has invalidated that lap, which means that Marius is going to be starting way down the order. So I'm almost wondering whether we will see an early pit stop from him and hopefully get himself working through the field. So that means that Gavin will be leading the field here this evening. Jake's in second place, Craig is third, then Checo in fourth, Pete in fifth, Memo is sixth, Ati is seventh, James is eighth, Christo ninth, Marius 10. Then Sheldon will be 11th and Duncan will be in 12th place. So Dirkie's comment just coming, saying sure he would have liked to have driven on these conditions, and the wet track got the better of me for a change. Man, oh man, that those conditions were absolutely incredible. So Dirkie putting out his shout out to Marius to say that he'll support Marius for his bad luck.
Good luck, guys. When the mic's off, Gav, you will lead us 3-1. Thanks very much, guys. Enjoy it.
Good.
So that was the instruction coming through our COC for the race. That is Craig just giving that final instruction. So they will be doing a short formation lap, cross the line, then do a full lap. And the reason that we do that is because in terms of our penalty system, we aren't able to add time onto the driver's race time at the end. So we do incur 5 place penalties depending on the penalty that has been awarded or penalized. And this allows us to just change the grid up as we need to, and it definitely has helped us in terms of the starts. So
green light, go,
definitely it's taken a little bit of getting used to, I should say, for the drivers. But as I'm watching now, is that everybody has heard the driver's briefing from Craig, and we are all up and running. Just seeing Louis Lutz coming through. We all know him as Insomnia, saying, hey everyone, good luck with the racing tonight. Louis, lucky to see you commenting. We need to see you back on the track, man. So everyone, if you have just joined us, this is currently just the out lap. Well, out lap, no, it's a formation lap. So the top 3 drivers are a Gav Pig, there we go, in the Merc, and it is Merc, Porsche, Audi, Porsche, Merc, Audi. No BMWs have joined the series. This is the German GT3 series, proudly brought to you by Deliver Your Parcel. And we have got the confirmation that the 2 carts for the Alpha and Bravo tier that will be entered into the last round of the F400 karting challenge have been secured. And on Monday we will be drawing the drivers who will be joining the likes of Pete, myself, Terry Wilfred in the F400. Hopefully we see the racing boots there, favorites from a Monday night. And that is us as the online community giving drivers real world opportunities.
3, 2, 1, go!
So that's the call from Gav, and everybody is now officially racing here at Zolder. And you can see into turn number 1, everybody is nice and controlled. Don't see any happenings further down the field. A nice move there from Marius up on the inside. And Christo Newcomer, he has just joined us for this evening, having done a lot of his time with the Project Cars guys, but decided that it's now time to give the ACC a go. Tyler, I hear you loud and clear. And it does look like Craig has made a mistake, because he's now dropped down all the way to 12th position. I might just need to just turn that up a bit. So to the guys that are on the track, just let us know please. If you are hearing the cars aside, it actually runs a little bit wide. Durkee saying, what track will be used at the last go-kart race? Well, Durkee, I'm pretty sure that your name will be in that. That was so close there by Marius, but he does do exactly what I thought he would. He's deciding to get himself out of the traffic, and now he gets himself into the pits. Durkee, we're going to be at Formula K at Benoni, and I'm pretty sure that you're looking forward to that draw on Monday night, because your name will be in that hat, having won the previous GT3 championship. And man, oh man, all I can say is what a track. But the man out in front is currently a Gav Pig. 1.3 seconds behind is Jake's in second place. His teammate who was in... Jake's taking a lot of curb there. Jake's teammate who was in the third. You can see that Marius, Sheldon and Craig all going into the pits. So that is all a very strategic in terms of what they want to do. So Sheldon has completed his pit stop. Morris is still in there as well as Craig. But Gav Pig now starting to pull away 1.7 seconds. So that's an additional 0.4 of a second is the gap that he's now opening up between himself and Jake's. But it is nice and congested in the middle. James in fifth place is being chased down by Memo, who's been chased down by Christo. And I do see that we have a visitor that has joined us in the Discord live stream chat. A good evening, Stain. Weren't you supposed to be racing this evening?
Good evening. I would have loved to race, but I'm unfortunately down with an injury. I can't race.
Oh my goodness. Sorry to hear that, but I suppose that by you still being here in the live chat, you're still supporting SARCO, so fantastic to see you around, man. Welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You see that Sly Peter's been in the absolute wars over the last couple of weeks, and I see that he is up into fourth place. Durkee actually mentioning that, saying Peter's doing very well. Yes, he is indeed. And everybody knows that Pete is actually one of my biggest rivals on the online world, but when it comes to the karting world, is that Pete is actually my teammate with kart number 69 Fun Times. So Ati down in 8th place. Oh, Marius seems to be just getting out of the way there. I'm almost wondering what had happened there with Marius, because he doesn't seem to be going very quickly. Sure.
2 laps down.
Just want to jump on Marius quickly just to see where he is. So he is now going, unless he was just getting out of the traffic there. But now we jump back to this battle, the 4th, 5th, 6th, and there's 7th for Christo. So a great battle here between James, and he too has had some of his own battles getting that Audi settled. And Mebel now tucks up right behind him, trying to look for that slipstream before they go into the chicane. And Stain, you've done a bit of laps around Zolder before. Just in terms of the track, the layout, do you enjoy this track at all?
Yeah, it's a very, very, very interesting track to race. It's not as straightforward as people think. You have quite aggressive curves around here, and you have a lot of fast-flowing corners with a couple of bumpy sections. So it's very, very important to get a car set up that can handle the bumps and the curves. But it's a very enjoyable track to race on.
Yeah, that first chicane, I have seen many, many casualties coming through that chicane. The guys just take too much of the... And surprisingly, the first curb, it's okay. It's actually the second curb on the right-hand side. If you hit that, it definitely just catches the rear and spins you around. It is an absolutely, extremely unforgiving corner, that.
Well, it's quite interesting you say that, because when we raced on this track in the last series of Online Outlaws, the guys with the Ferraris enjoyed jumping the second curb, where the Merc that I was driving in enjoyed the first curb and didn't enjoy the second curb. So it all depends on what you're driving, and obviously also the way the car is set.
Well, that makes sense, because I spent a lot of time in the Porsche, and if you just think is that now if you don't hit the first one, you want to get the nose up, and you hit the second one, you got all the weight in the back, and the suspension can't handle that sudden impact, and then that's what just throws you up. And also the Porsche, you got to run quite a quite a stiff suspension on this track because of the combination of the tight and the flowing corners.
Yes, correct, yes.
Oh!
Coming together there.
There was a little Memo just, I think I'm breaking himself a bit there and just tagging Rafiki on the back there.
That's quite unfortunate. That Audi is not the easiest cars to drive in this game. And they does tend to bite you quite hard once it starts rotating.
So Memo's going to have a look on the inside. He goes to the last chicane, but does decide to not commit into that corner. But this little battle and what was happening, because we know that James was in this mix as well, but has actually pulled Ati up into the mix now, because between Christo and Ati, that's less than a second between those three drivers now. See a message coming on the stream from Louis saying this track is fast, fun, but damn, very technical. Cannot agree with you more, Louis. So stayed on Monday night, we actually... Oh,
that was quite quickly. He went off at some speed.
That was quite a fast coming off there. And I wonder whether he just threw it in just too aggressively and the rear just let go.
Yeah, it's one of those lost the rear end, corrected, and the car shot the other way.
So I'm just going to catch up with our race leader. So that is Gav Pig, cameraman Tim, a little bit slow on the action there. And Jake's 3.8 seconds is the gap now. And currently Sheldon is the highest of the pitted drivers. So that is lap 7 now completed. There's still just over 28 minutes left to go. So Stan, what I was saying is that on Monday nights, our RSO 1 series, we raced here, but we had a little bit of a weather change, which added an absolutely incredible dynamic. It was qualifying was in the rain. We then raced the first third in the rain, and then the track started drying up. But going through turn 2 and 3 is that you had these little streams going across the track. So you had this understeer bite, understeer bite, understeer bite feeling. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I haven't really driven on this track in the rain, but yeah, it would be interesting to try it out and see what happens. Rain always brings a completely different dynamics to how the races play out, and it's always delivers to the racing.
Yeah, rain is always definitely an equalizer, and it does show the people that have put the time in just to get an understanding of the car and how it works in those conditions. It does bring everybody together.
Yeah, definitely.
So to everyone who's watching, here's a very, very interesting piece of information, and this is all for free, brought to you by Dirkie Kellerman, saying you need a perfect balance between spring rates and rebound, and you'll be okay with the aggressive curbs. So that was a side-by-side. Christo going on the inside, Pete's holding his line around the outside, but now as they go to turn number 1, will Christo have a go? No, he doesn't. He decides to rather just let Pete have the corner. So still very close racing, and Christo seems to be finding his way now. As Pete now runs out to the curb, now setting himself for turn number 4. And this little section here, and every time you approach that chicane, I don't know if you get that same feeling, Stan, but you're looking at your braking marker, but as you get there and you turn in, you always have that hope, like, have I hit this braking marker right, or have I overcooked it?
Absolutely. It's not a completely blind crest braking zone, but it does tend to just level out as you hit the brakes.
Yeah.
And if you miss that brake marker by 1 meter or 2 meters, you are bouncing curves and it can go very wrong.
So it does look like Memo's gone into the pits as well. And looking at the positions now between Marius and Memo, is that these two are actually fighting for position. So this is Porsche versus Porsche. Memo goes a little bit too deep, opens the door there for Marius, and Marius will say thank you very much, and he'll now move himself up into the 11th position.
That corner is quite tricky because you're coming down a little short straight in a downhill section, and if you try to attack the braking zone, you get run deep. You have to take patience with slowing the car down there.
And now one of the SARCO famous sayings, this is a three-way horse. We've got three cars all battling it out, and this is for 4th, 5th and 6th place. Antti has been pulled along, and I'm sure that Pete will be wanting so much to not look in his rearview mirrors. But the problem is that you can just hear the cars behind you, and the way that Audi screams is that Pete definitely knows that they're there. I thought we would just get a closer camera view. The guys just seem very far away for some reason.
That was the Germans.
So currently Christo in a AMG sandwich. You can just see a little bit further down is Mario, so he's starting to move his way, I'll say, up the field. He is down in 11th place, but he's definitely making inroads. Go into turn number one, and this turn number one is also so deceiving because you can take quite a wide line in. You've got an apex late there, get on that power so that you don't run too wide, and then all of a sudden you've got to shoot all the way back to the left. You set yourself up for the right hander for turn number two. We see Marius in the background just coming through. And I must say, Pete is doing a sterling job here. That was a great line there for Christo. I see he actually didn't touch any one of the curbs. And here we're saying that we're aiming for them, and he just managed to get that Audi straight through there. Oh, that was naughty.
That was unreal.
Yeah, Dylan, and then further back we've got Chappie as well. And he's pitted, so I wouldn't count him out just yet.
Yes, indeed. He is.
Seems to be running in nice clear air, so you know, if I look, he's pulled quite a gap on Craig. That gap's up to 17 seconds now, so he's definitely got a chance for those top 3 spots.
To possibly hit a podium.
And then we've got Gav we've just got Gav that's running for the pits. So,
which means now that's going to put Jake's into first place, and that's going to promote Checo. It all depends on how fast those changes are. To be also interesting to see where Antti comes out relative to James, because they were fighting earlier on in the race. So Gav Pig is on his way out already. So we'll see if there's somebody that comes past. Sure, and just watching that pit exit line, if you did exactly what Gav Pig had done then, you would have got a time penalty for crossing that pit exit line. You got to stay within that line. I suppose that's just one of the beauties of the online world. Oh!
Ooh, down there.
You see, Stein, that was the second curve. Second curve is the bugger.
I know it can launch you quite high. Very tricky to get right every lap.
So there we go, James now, our current race leader now goes into the pits, and Gavin now coming down the hill in turn number 8. And the thing is, if you don't get that braking marker right, the car just, you can miss it by just like 5 meters, and it just seems to brake for an extra 10 or 15 meters, which just sometimes doesn't always make sense. So let's see, in terms of the pits, the gap now coming through the last corner. Jakes is still in the pit, so he hasn't moved yet. So the car is now down. So Gav.
On we go.
So Gav now going into turn 2, because that was about 6 seconds, and there you go. So it looks like Jakes has been able to just close that gap a little bit.
You definitely got about 3 seconds on in that pit stop. Not bad at all, Jakey.
So Jakes definitely has gained time in those pits. But now it's all going to be when Checo goes in. We're supposed to be on Checo, but yeah, cameraman Tim, once again, not quite with us.
Yeah, and it seemed like Chappie got stuck behind Springbok Gamer there, because he also went into the pits and came out in front of Chappie.
Oh, indeed. So Ati has got himself ahead there. You are so right. So we've seen a message coming from Louis saying, "Nice air there, Mercs can fly." Yeah, but we know that that Sheldon does know how to get this Audi around the track, so I'm pretty sure that he'll be looking at that AMG badge very closely and trying to close that gap down. Sheldon is one of our Bravo tier champions, so we know that he is quite capable. And we see Memo's mother in the stands there with that purple flag. Grimjaw saying, "My power just came back and I really wish I could have joined tonight. Next time, Grimjaw, we look forward to seeing you, man." So our current provisional leader is Christo. Just knowing that Christo, Pete and Duncan still need to get a pit stop in. And Christo running a little bit wide just on that exit coming out of turn 7. Just looking at that time, Jakes is 3.7 seconds behind Gavpick now. So I'm not sure whether that pit has just upset Gavin's rhythm a little bit. But Jakes is now starting to close up on him.
I think he's actually starting to get his rhythm back, because the gap was 3.2 seconds lap back. So Gavin has pulled out a little bit of an advantage in that last lap.
There was a great exit there from Morris. You can just see a faster, wider line for him, and he was able to just get himself ahead of Christo. So that has just caught my eye. Half a second is that distance between Sheldon and Ati. So we are going to be having a battle on very soon. Then now go into a turn 1. Great apex point there for Sheldon. Didn't quite use the entire outside of the track, so could have found a few more hundredths of a second there. You could just hear how much the guys are delaying to get back on their power through turn number 4. That you just got to make sure that that car is settled before you put your foot back on that gas, otherwise that rear just lights up and then you find yourself going backwards. I was just about to say, it looked like Sheldon wasn't comfortable on those brakes there. And
he just hit the grass in the braking phase and kind of lost the rear end a little bit.
and it looks very similar to what had happened to me on that same corner on Monday night. And man, oh man, I could have kicked myself for it.
It's quite easy to make those mistakes, especially if you've got grass right next to you. But no grip on the grass.
Yeah, we gotta get cutting deep.
Yes, we can. So that's Duncan, our British international, 1.6 seconds behind Pete.
Yeah, so there's Crystal, Pete and Duncan are the only guys that haven't fitted yet.
And there's now 15 minutes to go. Duncan taking grass with them, and there's Marius facing the wrong way. That's a very interesting place to lose that car. Unless as he went over the crest, the rear just let go.
Thank you, James.
He's standing still there. Oh, maybe the car was too damaged for him to drive it back.
So Duncan now deciding now is the time to go into the pits. So there he comes into the exit, and we'll start seeing him where he'll end up after his pit stop. So Jakes has gone past him. Here comes Checo, so Checo will get past him as well. Here comes Ati. And Duncan is now exiting out of the pit, so it's going to be quite close between Ati and Duncan. We'll see Ati coming to the picture now. There he is there. So that's nice and close as well. And in between Ati and Sheldon. So these guys have definitely going to have a race on with 13 minutes left to go. We should be able to get in approximately 6 laps, maybe 7. And I'm sure Christo is just enjoying his time out in front. And Satan, I think you're right that Gav was just getting his rhythm back, because now 8.7 seconds is that gap, or 5.5 seconds is that gap between himself and Jakes now. So
He's got a good pace up front there.
So I've just seen a message come through from Dirkie. And yeah, thank you, Dirkie. I've got other words I'd love to say, but unfortunately we are code coconuts. But I'm sure you can fill the gaps. But he basically says, I love it when you had lost it. It just made my life so much easier to try and chase for the front. Buy a donkey, Dirkie.
Oh, how are you doing, Mr. Quicksilver?
Saying it's actually very interesting just to think that I've never met you personally, but you have been a part of my life on and off for the last 6 years now, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've been racing online with most of these guys since 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
And although I must say I always make an effort to meet the guys whenever I'm in their areas, but there's a lot of the people that I haven't even met yet. And it's crazy to think that you almost know these people intimately, but you've never seen them face to face.
Yeah, and that was all the way back from the consoleracing.co.za time.
Exactly, yeah. Race space, or what was that?
Yeah.
What do you call their yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think how mean, the road that most of these online racers have walked together without ever meeting in real life. It's crazy.
I'm just seeing that Simon's actually joined us. Simon J. Cup. Now, there's a name that we haven't heard in a while. Gee, Simon, how's it, man? Sure. And I think his name was Son of Rod.
Son of Rod, yeah. Uncle Rod's son, yeah. There you go. We miss him on track. He's one of the top racers in the South African leagues, and it's a pity he doesn't get time to actually race with the guys anymore.
So there you've heard it, Simon. It's time for you to get back into some racing, man. Even if it's just one night a week, just let us know. We'll get you in. And I remember that he had that little icon, the little acorn. So just less than 10 minutes to go. We've got Christo, who's currently hanging on to the top here as long as he can. A Gav Pig in a second place, followed by Jakes in third. Checo, he's in fourth with Ati in fifth. And here we go. This is the battle we've been waiting for. This is Ati, Pete, and Duncan. Not only Duncan, I see there's Sheldon in the mix there as well.
I think what Christo is doing at the moment is he's keeping himself out of the midfield battle and see if he can actually leapfrog the midfield by taking it as late as he can. Driving in some clean air.
Yeah, because the guys are definitely not going to be changing tyres, so it's just about a timing of how consistent you have been for that time. And the last thing that he would need is to be stuck and thrown right in the mix here. So a message coming through from Dirkie saying, hello Stanky. So that's directly there for you, Stain.
Thanks, Dirkie. Nice hearing from you, my friend.
And then Marius saying, no, Dylan, he was taken out. Oh, unfortunately there, Marius. I'm sure we'll have the stewards looking at that. They're saying, Dirk saying he's met you personally and you had a lacquer outing once. Oh, Duncan is wide! Will he hang on to that rear? And that's going to allow Sheldon to get that power down. He should be able to go around the outside and set himself up for the inside, but he decides to rather go cautiously. That was very courteous there of Sheldon. I would have definitely put my nose in there.
It's playing it safe. Doesn't want to cause unnecessary contact. But yeah, that outing that Dirkie is referring to some encounter with a baby Beamer that's making more power than it should be doing. But it was lovely.
We have heard about this BMW.
That was a lot of fun.
So 7.5 minutes left, guys, and we're currently watching this battle here between 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th place. Ati does seem to be just pulling away just a little bit there. 4.1 seconds now is that gap. Ooh, little kick up of the dirt there from Duncan. And Sheldon making his presence very much known there.
It seems like Christo is keeping up quite a nice pace in the front. I mean, in the last 2 laps, Gavin had only caught him by 2 seconds.
Oh, there was a little tag there on the back. So Simon's come back and say, great to see everyone still racing. We had some awesome races back in the consoleracing.co.za days. Hopefully one day I'll be able to brush up on my pedals and join you guys someday. Enjoy it. Simon, thanks so much for tuning in, man. It's always great to hear from you.
Yeah, likewise. Would be lovely to have you back on track, Simon.
So 6 minutes left, and I'm just wondering whether we will have our current race leader, Christo, going in. Just trying to think, Tyler, I'm not sure whether you know how long it takes to get into the pit road here.
On a set caution, no, Dylan. I've been trying to work that out as well. But I do see that Christo's been losing a second or so per lap
Yeah.
to Gav and Jakes. They are catching him. So, yeah, I'm trying to work out where he's going to come out.
Because if it's around 30 seconds for that pit stop, is that it just want to see, because it's not showing us the Checo split.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll fall into that mid-pack. So, you know, I think sort of between Springbok Gamer and Sly Pete, somewhere around there.
You're looking at about 24 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, to pull into the pit, stop, and fill up and pull out again. I think it's about 24 seconds is going to lose in the pit stop.
So that was
Well, it's
8,
only
8, so that's 16, 19.
He's probably started with quite a bit of fuel, so he's going to stop for a splash and dash. So is the tire stop mandatory, or is it just a pit stop that's mandatory?
No, so what needs to happen is the car needs to be turned off. It is lifted on the jacks. It gets put down, and then you can go again. So you don't have. There isn't anything that you have to do, but it has to be a stop.
So it's a stop and go basically.
100%.
Yeah, so you're looking at between 20 and 24 seconds from
Yes.
entering the pit to exiting the pit. Yeah.
Okay, so we know that Gav, Jakes, and Checo. So Checo's 25 seconds behind.
Oh, Gav's just taken a second and a half out of 1.4 seconds out of Crystal on that lap.
If Christy plays his cars right, he can come out in fourth place.
Yeah, 100%. So I must say, Peter's had a great race here. He was, I think, a little bit bullied there by Christo on that pass, but he kind of just put the car on the inside, and Pete just stopped and let him go through, and they ended up losing places. And there's Duncan trying to find a way around Pete. And with 2 laps left, anything can still happen, because we do have old
And that Crystal goes
Sheldon.
into the pit.
So let's see.
Oh, that's just his pitting, huh?
Kristo's going to have to go to
He's
the
actually
pits
come
now.
out of the pit. No, Gav's got past him.
So
But
that
Christian
means,
must have made a mistake.
so
He must have
Christo,
made a mistake up here. He was 15 seconds ahead.
Yeah, it was 7.4 seconds ahead.
So
I
he
didn't-
must have made a mistake somewhere.
I didn't see his little pit icon though, so he wasn't in the pits though, right?
It's still yellow, so he hasn't pitted yet.
No, but what
Yeah, I
happens sometimes is that drivers will go into the pits, is that they'll miss their pit box, think that they've done the stop, but then it doesn't actually count it as a stop.
Oh,
Ah,
there
there we
you
go,
go.
there we go, there we go. So this is what we've been waiting for, just to see where he is going to come out. So Gav now takes up his top spot there in first place, which now will promote Jake's up into second. And Checo now 25 seconds behind, and Ati is right behind him. So that's a massive change of the events that can possibly go down here, because there's going to be this current lap plus one more. But now where is Christo? So Christo is now, as I say, he was on the move, but that seems like it was a very, very slow entry. But now he's down. He needs to go now. Go, 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 go.
no. Almost lost the rear end in the pits there.
Because there goes Checo now towards turn 2. Christo is coming out. He should see. So Christo is now technically in 5th place.
How many seconds behind Springbok?
So there's Ati and Checo down there. And look, you can see just behind
And
Christo
that's
is Slot
right behind
Pete.
him.
So Pete has
Slotted in.
he's slotted in between Ati and Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Whoa! There were some half-line
So if it
cars
wasn't
there.
for that mistake,
if you didn't make that mistake, you would
mistake.
have come out with a Springbok there.
yeah.
So Duncan and Pete, almighty battle still. Duncan's still trying to find that opportunity, not able to find it just yet. But I just want to make sure that these guys do keep it nice and clean.
I wonder what's happened to Craig this race.
So Craig down in a 9th place. I'm sure we can get him into our Discord and we can ask him. And I'm sure he'll give us some excuse as to why his wheel wasn't working or something like that.
Some race drivers.
We love you, Craig. So our race leader Gav, 9.2 seconds ahead of Jake's. He will be coming home soon, but as much as we want to keep watching our race leader, is that this battle for 6th, 7th and 8th place is not done just yet. And there's Christo just ahead of them. So any one of these three, I'm sure, will take that opportunity to pounce. Just see very tightly this time, but all three of the cars in shot definitely took the high road in terms of getting some air. So that's a confirmation that Gav has now completed the race.
Oh, skip the chicane. He missed the second part of the chicane. Hopefully they don't get a penalty for that.
Duncan very wide there. And that's the thing about that corner. If you don't get that turn-in just right and that car's not settled, it just tends to understeer.
Whoa.
As Duncan lights up the rear, that's going to allow Sheldon to go side by side with him. And Sheldon gets past. He should be able to just protect that corner. Sheldon goes too deep. And Duncan sneakily goes back around the outside and reclaims that place back. And puts himself back in 7th place ahead. Absolutely fantastic in there.
I apologize for that.
I think they should turn back and pick up their hearts. I think jumped out of the pit.
I'm really, really sorry about that.
Absolutely incredible.
Hey, moderate.
Congrats to Gavin, Jakes and Checo on your podiums.
So let's just get them in our Discord and we can just find out how their race went.
Hey, getting started. Hello. Really?
Well, it makes it quite interesting on the points. So, because we had Gavin and Jakes up on 1st and 2nd, and then Alan R who didn't make it. Craig also didn't finish that well, and then RVR didn't make it, and Alan R Checker in 6th place. So Alan R I think is going to move up quite nicely, and then Gavin Jakes will obviously pull a gap.
So it is definitely going to be mixing up those points once again.
Yeah, I got like out of shape.
How's it?
And he tried to pass me. I tried to
Hello.
and he got out of shape. And
How's it?
Moved the wrong one.
never touched. Yeah.
Which one must I go to?
No, stay where you are. I moved the wrong one. I was supposed to have moved something else, but I moved my camera.
Oh man, what a race. What a day.
And don't get for the setup.
Hey, Steve. You also did well, buddy.
There we go. We're just getting rid of some of the other stuff that's currently up. Oh my Jakes, I see you got a shirt on this evening.
It's not that on tonight,
Good evening everybody, welcome to the post-race discussion, welcome. And I see Gav's got his shirts off, and that's just basically carbon copy of what we saw on Monday with Jakes. sweating with the towel.
Naked, yeah, dude. I'm not gonna move this thing down.
Please don't. Remember, this is a family
Don't
show,
worry.
and we officially code coconuts. We don't want to see your coconuts.
You brought it up.
These guys don't have my shit.
Right, Checo, let's go to you first. We'll know you as Checo, sorry. But what a great race. Very, very close at the end there. There was quite a bit of pressure. Ati was slowly but surely just gaining on you, and that could have gone any way in those last couple of laps.
Well, but I crashed at the chicken, so I was just damage limitations. So yeah, he was catching when I was playing a defense game there. So, but yeah, all good and fair.
No, listen, an absolute awesome race there. My Jakes, you drove this track on Monday on Project Cars in the wet. Preferred the dry?
No, I prefer the wet actually.
Really?
No.
With your
Can you believe
thrustmaster,
it?
my Jakes.
Yes, can you believe it? No, last week when we did Laguna Seca in the wet as well, I also did very, very well. And with Monday night's wet race on PC2, I also did good there. I must say tonight's race, very lonely race. Nobody to race against. I thought Checo was going to give me a bit of a dice there, but Checo, what happened, buddy?
I died.
But yes, well done to Gav. I just couldn't catch up to him. Every lap he was a tenth, 2 tenths, at 10th, 2 tenths quicker than me. I just couldn't catch up with him. Very well done.
Thanks, Jock.
Gav, let's just go to you quickly. Race winner this evening. After the pits, Jake's closed up. You had about 6 seconds on him. Came out of the pits and was down to about 3.1. I'm sure you were quite surprised just in terms of how much time he'd actually made up there. But then after like 2 or 3 laps, Stain actually mentioned it, that it looked like you got into a rhythm because that gap was starting to open up again. So did the pits just little lack of concentration there a bit?
I really need to work on my pits. I got such a big issue with these pits. I just cannot get it right. And every time I go in there, I get so damn nervous, I just cause so much crap. So yeah, that's something I need to do. I really need to work on those pit stops. It's my biggest mistake there. I don't know how many races I've lost because of these drive-through penalties or just being an idiot in the pits.
No, absolutely all good, but a great race there for you. Quite a substantial gap there in the end, so very well done. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
So
Yeah, it's no, sorry, go.
No, go for it.
It was, I was battling with the front left there. It was completely overheating, but I think everybody had the same problem. So it was just trying to keep the car on the track was all I was trying to do. That front was just really getting hammered, and front left. So yeah, damage limitations for me.
No, absolutely awesome. Well, pulled it through for a win. Absolutely fantastic.
Thanks, guys. Great racing, though.
Yep, absolutely.
So thank you, everybody, guys. I just want to say a big thank you to Craig, our COC, for this evening, to all the drivers that joined, as well as all the guys that came back and jumped on the stream. It was nice to see some comments coming through from Dirkie as well as from Simon. And then Tyler for the commentary, and then my guest commentator, Stanky, who just jumped in and just made himself at home. Absolutely fantastic. Stan, you're always welcome.
Thanks, Stan.
Thanks, Dylan. It's enjoyable sharing the commentary with you.
No, thanks very much. Guys, don't
Congratulations
forget.
to the podium, guys. Like a JC.
Thanks, Stanky.
Don't forget, guys, on Monday we're going to be announcing the 6 drivers that will be invited to come and join the Deliver Your Parcel / SARCO invitational teams that will be participating in the last race of the F400 happening on the 27th of November at Formula K, one of the greatest tracks that you could drive a go-kart in South Africa. So keep your eyes out on that, and we will just be confirming all those details once we have drawn the names. So to everyone that is on the stream, thank you so much. To all the drivers, thank you very much. It is
Thanks,
always
guys.
great to have you with us. And all I can say, guys, we'll see you on Monday. And until then, keep racing, keep practicing, and thanks for watching.
Ciao, ciao, guys.
So,
Good guys.
Enjoy, guys.
Yes.